Before we start this video, comment below the SUV you want me to cover next. Seriously. Whether it's a Toyota, Jeep, Ford, Honda, BMW, or even a luxury SUV, drop the name in the comments because I read them and make videos based on what you guys want to watch. And if you enjoy real SUV content without fake hype, hit subscribe because this channel is all about helping people avoid bad car decisions. Now let's talk about something most people never fully understand before buying an SUV: the difference between cheap SUVs and expensive SUVs. Because honestly, a lot of buyers assume expensive automatically means better, while cheap automatically means bad. But the truth is way more complicated than that. Some expensive SUVs are complete money pits, while some affordable SUVs quietly last forever with almost no problems. And that's exactly what nobody tells you. So in this video, we're breaking down the real truth about cheap SUVs versus expensive SUVs. What you actually get for the money, what's just marketing, and which one makes more sense for most buyers in 2026. And trust me, some of these truths might completely change the way you look at SUVs. 8. Expensive SUVs don't always mean better quality. One of the biggest myths in the car world is that spending more money automatically gets you a better SUV. And honestly, dealerships love this mindset because it makes buyers emotional. People see luxury badges, giant screens, fancy interiors, and premium lighting, and instantly assume the vehicle must be higher quality. But once you look deeper, that's not always true. In fact, some expensive luxury SUVs have terrible long-term reliability and insanely expensive repair costs. Meanwhile, affordable SUVs from brands like Toyota and Honda often last much longer with fewer headaches. That's why smart buyers don't just look at the price, they look at ownership experience. Because after a few years, nobody cares how expensive your SUV looked if it keeps breaking down. So tell me honestly, would you rather own a reliable cheap SUV or an unreliable luxury SUV? 7 cheap SUVs usually cut costs somewhere. Now let's be fair, cheap SUVs aren't perfect either. Car companies have to save money somewhere, and you usually notice it in things like interior quality, engine performance, sound insulation, or technology. Some cheap SUVs feel noisy on highways, some have weak acceleration, and others use cheaper materials that age quickly. That's the trade-off. But here's the interesting part. Sometimes those simpler SUVs actually become more reliable long-term because there's less complicated technology to fail. So while they may not feel luxurious, they can still make excellent financial decisions. The key is understanding what matters most to you. Are you buying an SUV to impress people or to save money and avoid stress later? 6. Luxury features become expensive problems later. One thing many people don't realize is that luxury SUVs often become very expensive after warranty coverage ends. Air suspension systems, giant infotainment screens, advanced electronics, digital dashboards, panoramic roofs. These things look amazing when new, but when they fail years later, repairs can become painfully expensive. That's why some used luxury SUVs look cheap online. It's not because they're incredible deals. It's because previous owners want to escape future repair costs. Meanwhile, many simpler SUVs keep running with basic maintenance for years. And honestly, this is where smart buyers save thousands of dollars. Because reliability matters much more than flashy features once the vehicle gets older. So here's a question. Would you sacrifice luxury features for long-term peace of mind? 5. Expensive SUVs lose huge amounts of value. Depreciation is one of the biggest hidden truths nobody talks about enough. Some luxury SUVs lose unbelievable amounts of value within just a few years. A $90,000 SUV can suddenly become worth $45,000 or less after a short time. That's a massive financial hit. And the crazy part is, many affordable SUVs actually hold their value better because buyers trust their reliability more. This is why some people buy used luxury SUVs thinking they found an amazing deal, until maintenance costs arrive. Smart buyers understand that the purchase price is only part of the story. Long-term value matters too, because losing money through depreciation is still losing money, even if the SUV feels premium. 4. Cheap SUVs can actually be smarter financial decisions. Here's something most influencers won't say. Sometimes buying a cheaper SUV is actually the smarter move financially. If the SUV is reliable, fuel-efficient, affordable to maintain, and holds decent resale value, it can save you a huge amount of money over time. And honestly, for most people, that matters way more than owning something flashy. Because let's be real, most SUV owners mainly commute, drive to work, go shopping, or take family trips. They're not racing or climbing mountains every weekend. So spending tens of thousands extra for features you barely use doesn't always make sense. This is why practical buyers often end up happier long-term than emotional buyers. 3. Social media makes expensive SUVs look necessary. A huge reason people overspend on SUVs today is social media. Everywhere you look, influencers are driving luxury SUVs with giant wheels, expensive lighting packages, and premium badges. And slowly, people start feeling like regular, affordable SUVs aren't good enough anymore. But most of that lifestyle is marketing and image. In reality, many wealthy people drive practical, reliable vehicles because they understand how money works. They don't waste cash trying to impress strangers online. And honestly, that's one of the smartest financial lessons anyone can learn. Because buying a vehicle to impress people is usually a terrible investment. So tell me, do you think social media pressures people into overspending on cars? 2. Reliability is the real luxury. You know what actually feels luxurious? Starting your SUV every morning without worrying about warning lights, expensive repairs, or random breakdowns. That's real peace of mind. And honestly, many affordable Japanese SUVs deliver that feeling better than expensive luxury brands. A reliable SUV saves time, stress, and money. That's why brands like Toyota and Honda dominate long-term ownership satisfaction. Because after years of ownership, reliability matters more than almost anything else. A flashy badge becomes meaningless if the SUV spends more time in repair shops than on the road. So if you had to choose one thing only, luxury or reliability, which would you choose? 1. The best SUV is the one that fits your life. At the end of the day, the truth nobody tells you is this. The best SUV isn't automatically cheap or expensive. The best SUV is the one that fits your actual lifestyle, budget, and long-term goals. Some people genuinely need luxury comfort, towing capability, or high-end technology. Others simply need something dependable that won't create financial stress. The problem happens when people buy emotionally instead of logically. That's when regrets start. Smart buyers think long-term. They focus on ownership costs, reliability, fuel economy, resale value, and practicality, not just appearance or hype. Because once the excitement of buying fades away, reality takes over. And the smartest SUV buyers understand that before signing papers. So hopefully this video helped you understand the real difference between cheap SUVs and expensive SUVs. Because the truth is way more complicated than most people realize. Expensive doesn't always mean better, and cheap doesn't always mean bad. What matters most is buying smart. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe and turn on notifications because we post honest SUV content like this all the time. And before you leave, comment below this. If someone gave you the choice right now, would you pick a fully loaded luxury SUV or a reliable budget SUV with no stress? Let's see what people actually prefer.